Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Gilda Evans, bringing you the Autism Resource Podcast. This podcast and the ARP website are your one-stop knowledge and resource space for autism and much more. I'm very pleased to have Ricki, Macken Chilvers join me today as my guest. Ricki's education in marriage and family therapy and her 25 years of experience working in mental health services with children and disability services for adults has influenced her vision to run an agency that meets the needs of the clients served by, as well as the employees who work at Pleasantview. With significant nonprofit and social services experience, Ricki is now learning about the world of business with the hope of helping businesses see the opportunities they have in connecting with one of the least accessed workforce resources across the nation, individuals with disabilities. Welcome, Ricki, and thank you so much for taking the time to join me and discuss the work that you do.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I am so honored to be here.
So, to get started, tell me, what is Pleasantview?
Pleasantview is an organization that's been in the Santa Clarita Valley for 55 years. So we have a long legacy, homegrown, created originally by volunteers and people that just care about individuals with disabilities. But over time, it's evolved into a support network for those we serve, helping them learn the skills they need to get jobs in the community, to create those relationships that are so important in their community, and also to support their ongoing growth and stability in the workplace once they do get competitively employed. Conversely, we also support the businesses. We don't want the businesses to feel that they're left on their own. We want them to know that they have a partner in us, and whether it's great things and celebrations or struggles, we're right there with them.
So, you've been around a long time. How has the agency and the services that you offer changed over the years? And what types of businesses do you work with? Tell me a little bit about how the agency functions.
Originally, when this first started in the 60s, it was, hey, these kids are getting out of school and they're just going and sitting at home. We can't have that. Let's create something a little bit more purposeful. So what started off in, I think it was like a trailer in the middle of a field donated by a woman who lived there, was just a place for people to go and have partnership and camaraderie and enjoy their time. Over time, it turned into more work focus. So they had some on-site work. We ended up getting in 1980 the building that we're currently in, where we would bring in work from companies all over California that shipped in their work. And it was primarily an on-site program. Obviously, over time, that changed. We wanted it to be more integrated and have the individuals that we serve be more focused and working in the community. So we supported them through Department of Rehab and doing that competitive employment component. With recent changes, our on-site program closed a couple of years ago. So we developed an opportunity for our guys to go into the community and practice the skills we had been training them on for so long, and really taking it out into the world where we want them to exist and to be. So I do see it somewhat as a blessing in disguise, being forced to make that change, but it's been a challenge getting businesses and locations on board supporting these initiatives. It's been challenging, but through the work that we do, we've shown that we don't abandon these locations. When there's struggles and difficulties, we're right there with them. And I think that helps them see there's no fear to be had in this. We can do it. We can work with them and create something really great.
So, how do the clients come to you, and what sort of businesses do you focus on connecting them with and placing them in terms of employment? And is your reach strictly in the local community where you're located, or does your reach go beyond that?
For the individuals that we serve directly, we usually are referred by Department of Rehab or regional centers. We are funded by those two entities. We do have the opportunity for people to be privately funded, and we do support self-determination. So we do have a couple of individuals that we serve through self-determination, but obviously they're still regional center consumers. We currently have a lot of guys in customer service, courtesy clerks in grocery stores. We have individuals in manufacturing, but we also have an aide in a classroom of special needs students, elementary school students, little guys like the 3 to 5 year olds. And that was huge because here we see her having her own disability, working with children who have their disabilities. And it was such a unique opportunity for us to really show what's possible and that there really doesn't have to be limitations in what they do and what they want to do, and just supporting them in their goals and their what they see as where they want to go in their life. We'll support them through that. And if that's something that we haven't connected with yet, an industry we haven't connected with, that's okay. Let's do it. Let's try it. Let's go out there. Let's support them through this. So as far as the people we serve, that's a lot of what we do is service industry and manufacturing, and we have some education. Our reach, as far as clientele and services, we do provide it in Santa Clarita primarily. However, what I would like to see happen is connecting to businesses, not just across the state, but across the nation, and getting out the message of what's possible. I think for so long, people have viewed individuals with disabilities as what's not possible, what they can't do. And one guiding light in our agency is presumed competence. We always come from a perspective of what they can do, not what they cannot do. And we look at everything in terms of that. And not just for the people we serve, but for ourselves. How many times have you approached something and said, oh, I'm not really sure I can do that thing, but then you do the thing and it's amazing. Or we do the thing and we stumble and it's okay and we learn from it. Our experience is the same as theirs. So helping businesses across the nation see that and grasp it and then have a connection to that thought process will help their businesses and will also help the individuals with disabilities across the nation.
So when you say across the nation, if someone were to listen to this podcast and you're located in California, but let's say they're in a different state, they would still be able to reach out to you for advice, guidance, connections?
Absolutely. In fact, on our website, we have a page that's dedicated to our consultations. It lets them know what we can do to help them see what's possible in their business. So we could do a virtual walkthrough of their entity, their organization, their company, and identify, hey, let's look at this position as something that could be done with individuals who we serve or other agencies serve. So most definitely, the consultation piece is huge. Oftentimes, businesses are afraid to ask those questions and say what they're thinking. And what I want to do is offer them a place and a person to ask without feeling worried about judgment, but just knowing that's where their mind is at. If we can just get to that, would be amazing.
So people can access that online through your website.
Absolutely.
Okay. And what do you see as some of the most significant challenges in employment for people with disabilities? Just give me some examples.
I think our evolution to focus too heavily on education has resulted in this population not being able to be hired into roles. Now, what I've seen is that companies will build a job description and they'll put in what they believe are prerequisites to having this job and to doing a good job. But I would say that probably 75% of the time, the requirements that they list are not required. So when they say a diploma is required, I don't think truly in most cases the diploma is required. You want to have skills. And so right now in 2024 and 25, we've seen a huge shift away from that. Must have a master's degree, must have a bachelor's degree, must have this educational component. And they're starting to shift into skills-based. And I think skills-based is where our guys thrive. Most of the individuals we serve are excellent at learning tasks, and not just one task, many tasks. They can implement and are focused in making sure they do a good job and are willing to just keep going and going until they do. And when we're looking at skills-based hiring and skills-based training and skills-based business and job descriptions, that's where we're going to find success. So organizations looking at their job descriptions, looking at how they've designed their structures internally and how things have to go. I think there's a lot of opportunities for businesses to really look at where their structure needs that and where it's only a bonus, and how our clients or individuals with disabilities can really come in and support the organization's growth.
All right, that makes a lot of sense to me, and I agree that this is such an underrated and underutilized resource of incredible people who are talented and willing and able, and in many ways much more efficient and even produce a better product than some others who are out there.
Absolutely. And I think it's the mindset that we've had for so long, again, of what's not possible. And you're right, the productivity can be so much higher than typical individuals even. Some of my guys outwork me in certain things. And I'm like, you've got it. I can't do anything more than what you do.
So, what do you think are some of the best ways that we can mitigate those challenges that you've described?
And that's the reason why I have my consultations, but also the reason why I have in the works a podcast that I'm going to be starting. The way we can challenge it is by allowing businesses to ask the questions and say the things. It's really hard for them, and they're looking at it in terms of, I can't say this and I can't say that. But how do you get to the information you want to know when you're afraid that somebody is going to judge you for how you're saying it or how you're asking it? And so giving them that opportunity to come to us and say, hey, I want to know this. And plain language, just say it. Because when you can do that, it takes out all of the covers that we put on the words and where there's ambiguity and misunderstanding. If they just say it, then we have an opportunity to answer it. And my job isn't to lie to them and not to tell them that it's going to be wonderful all the time, every time, 100% of the time, because that's not life. But my job and what I see in doing this podcast is giving them an opportunity to hear what is possible and to see it in terms of their experience and what they see in their business. I think being able to see it will help them walk toward it and experience it. Where if they don't get to say it and they don't get to ask the questions and they don't get the answers, then they're always fearful and worried and not sure and hesitant, and there's no reality in that. It's not based in anything. It's based in stories and myths, not reality.
Is there anything at this point that we haven't covered that you would like to mention? And also, what is the most important takeaway you want our listeners to have from our conversation?
I should probably mention that our website, pleasantviewindustries.org, is a huge resource. It does tailor some of the information to the services we provide, but often the services we provide, such as our internship programs and our supported employment programs, those exist across the nation. So the information they can get from our website, pleasantviewindustries.org, is information they can apply anywhere. If they're in Massachusetts, they can still learn the information and call their local service providers and say, hey, is this a service you offer? Is this something that I could connect with? So the information is wide ranging. The podcast is going to be called Critical Adjustment. And I think that speaks to the goal. And it's not just for businesses. It really isn't, because the businesses are just a microcosm of how society views individuals with disabilities. And again, that's in terms of what's not possible. And my hope, my dream is that with a critical adjustment of thinking and of how we see, and we start presuming competence, and we stop looking at services as being something that's unusual, but something that is how we support each other. I like to share with people that you have your partner or your best friend, and you know that you can't approach them with a big question before 7 a.m. before they've had their coffee. That's a personal plan. And we don't call it that because that's just life. And a lot of these individuals need nothing more than, hey, this is how we approach that person. This is how we explain things to that person. It's what we do every day, all day with the people that are in our lives. And there's nothing different about providing that same level of support to people with disabilities in the workplace. It's not that different. It really isn't. And that critical adjustment is all we need to really expand and help everybody and businesses see what's possible.
I could not agree with you more. We all have our faults, foibles, idiosyncrasies, right? It's just about finding out how the other person works and their quirks and building that bridge and communicating in the right way. And there you go.
Absolutely. And I don't think we point that out enough, because again, that's part of that. They're different, they're other, they're not. They're us. We're them. It's the same.
Thank you, Ricki, so much for your time, for the work that you do, and for sharing your story with us today.
Thank you so much. I'm excited for more businesses to see the benefits our clients have to offer them in our communities. I rally for them.
If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast. You can find it on Apple iTunes, Amazon Music, Spotify, and other popular platforms. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And if you would like more information on this topic or anything else we've covered on the Autism Resource Podcast, visit us online at autismresourceproject.org/podcast. If you have a topic you'd like us to cover in the future, contact us through the website or comment on any of our social media channels. And be sure to check out our growing website often, since we are continually adding useful information and resources. I want to thank our listeners for spending part of their day with us. This is the Autism Resource Podcast, and I'm Gilda Evans, reminding you to take care of yourself and that special person in your life.